on Go NITRO. It's everything from a real-life RPG to getting strapped into an exoskeleton. But this is no game. With the help of top-notch experts in injury recovery, we're learning all about the technology and what goes into the therapy used to treat athletes, soldiers, and everyone in between. But there's just one catch. They've had half their lives, we have half an hour. And today, every resident has a first day. Here's the place. Here's the legend. Here I am. And my new teacher. I was a goalie for 15 years. But we've never done this before. Experience? Zilch.
Oh, gonna take a step.
Go NITRO is all about the sports, and even some pretty athletic jobs. Athletes, as well as military, police, and rescue workers, take training to the max. We take you behind the scenes to experience what goes into making it to the top. But there's a side to these professions that's just as important, and that's what goes on after things go wrong. It takes a dedicated team of professionals to find solutions to many injuries that up till recently may have been considered impossible situations. Just like Olympians always pushing to break a record, research teams behind closed doors play the long game every day. Virtual reality is being used as a form of recovery for multiple forms of trauma, and an exoskeleton capable of giving a paraplegic the chance to walk are just a few of the therapeutic recovery projects taking place on an ongoing basis. It's all in an effort to restore the lives of those who suffered from severe injuries. Today we get to step into the shoes of the patients and experience firsthand some of this amazing technology. Our professors, the Ottawa Hospital research teams. Let's see how we do.
What we want to know about at the start is we want to know how much pain you might be experiencing, so that's headache or any other type of pain, and 10 is the worst pain you can imagine. So what number would you give for today? And I actually want to know before we go out there.
Yeah, that's got to be down there around 1. I mean, I'm a little bit thirsty, and that's about it.
Okay. And you're not experiencing any extreme fatigue today?
No.
No. So you'd be a 0 on the similar scale at a 10. That 0's no fatigue, 10 is you've got dropsy and you're falling asleep.
No.
No. Okay.
I did not have to get up at 5 a.m. for a jog this morning.
Okay, and you're not having any sort of sense of motion sickness right now. There's nothing spinning. It doesn't feel like you're on a boat. You're not doing any sort of somersault stuff. Okay.
Nope.
Okay, so then the next thing we get people to do who have concussions before we put them on the simulator is we get their baseline as to where they're actually at, and we get them to fill in this form.
So general discomfort is none. Eye strain, not yet. Salivation increasing. No. Well, I might put sweating as slight.
Okay.
It's a little warm in here. And no. Fullness of head, no. blurred vision. None more than I should. Stomach awareness. That does not count the corset.
When we finish, we're going to get you to do that again. And this is one of the things we track to determine treatment intensity.
Okay.
When you step into a virtual reality machine such as this one, it looks like the coolest video game in the world. And in a way, that's exactly what it is. The need for the technology is driven by real-world heroes.
If we're pulling a lot of symptoms over here, obviously we need to adjust things because we're over-treating you. Okay? So at this point, before you were to go out there, you've already told me that you've suffered a head hit.
Yeah.
Okay, you've told me that you're a little sensitive to motion based on what you've informed me. Okay, is there anything else about your medical history that I should know? So things I'm really interested in, things like conditions like asthma, because they tend to take us to fight and flight. So that means your body's used to going to fight and flight really quickly. Or irritable bowel syndrome or migraines, those are all things where we tend to go to fight and flight really easily.
I don't really have asthma. I have a puffer for every now and then when it's usually for allergies.
Okay, and do you use it frequently? Like, have you been using it this week?
I used it once this week for allergies, but that's about it.
Okay, so from here, we go out onto the platform, and the first thing we're gonna have you do.
Should these be up a bit higher?
No,
Okay.
they're just like that. They won't inhibit your, right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna attach you here. Okay? So you're gonna put your feet halfway across both treadmills.
Okay.
So that you're even. And can you see the 3 dots?
Yep.
Okay, in a minute, when it starts up, it'll be a blue dot, right? Silver or blue, I always forget.
It's a blue dot that's going to be the target,
Yes.
and you are going to be the silver dot that's trying to track the target.
Okay.
The target changes speeds. So it's going to be one frequency and then it's going to change. Your job is to keep your dot on it at all times. In life, we don't walk around like this.
Okay.
I have lots of patients that do, but that's what we're trying to stop.
Okay.
Okay?
So it's the
even-
normal stance. I can't have one foot forward for a bit.
No, as a matter of
Okay.
fact, your feet should be shoulder width. And
Okay.
even your feet are even a little bit. There we
Well,
go.
I would say that's
okay?
about-
So the purpose of this is you're going to be trying to follow the dot.
Okay. Oh, I'm the black dot.
Yeah.
Go forward onto your toe, forward onto your toe.
Oh, I go back and forth by going forward. Oh, okay. Oh my God. And then,
And
how do
backspace.
backward is harder than forward.
Backwards is
Harder for everybody, but there's sort of a range that we're looking for, and we call
It's
it
at
the
that
wall.
1/3 point where I
Yeah.
have a hard time.
Backspace.
Do I need to make my feet more centered,
No, you're good.
maybe? Okay.
This is why I was asking you questions and why we started with this. Because when people have had any sort of injury, like a concussion beforehand, we don't necessarily expect everything to go right here. That there will be things that would need to be tweaked with them.
I have all my weight on my heels. I can't go any further back than this.
You actually have all your weight sort of actually mid-foot. You're just sort of sitting in the harness is what's happening. You're actually not shifting backwards with your weight. There we go. Okay? And that's your sense of where you are in space. When you think you're back, you're not actually back. And this is one of the things that we train people to be able to do. So when you've heard Courtney and I say there's a problem with backspace, it means there's a problem with the person's ability to move into the space behind them.
Am I allowed to step back?
No, that would be itchy.
Okay. But I can lean back into the harness.
Yeah, you're not going to fall because that harness is going to keep you up if you did lose your balance.
Oh, okay.
It's getting better. Yep. So if we're going to have, for the next one, I would say go with maze 3 with moving platform. Because I still don't want to go big because I don't know her.
All right, I can do a base platform.
Yeah.
Reach through and grab those 2 straps there between your legs. You should
These
see
2
them.
here?
Yeah, just grab them one at a time and bring them up.
Here we go. And then just like,
And then this is going to cross in front. It's quite
yeah.
difficult. Here.
That
Grab
works.
the other one for me.
It almost serves as your own personal jock strap.
Essentially. Basically, well, it has to be like a seat because this, like, if you were paralyzed, has to hold you.
Yeah, I
in
could
a
see that.
Position, and
Because otherwise somebody would fall and
Exactly. Like you have
potentially fall
abdominal
out and
muscles.
sustain. Yeah.
Yeah, you have abdominal muscles. You have muscles that are going to just help you stay upright in the device. So it's really important that the strapping actually like hugs you and holds you securely into it. Otherwise, you just sort of like fall through it as you're taking steps.
Makes
So we have
sense.
these other straps that are going to cross in front.
On the arms, I take it.
Well, those
yeah.
are coming up next. So these
Speaking of the abdomen,
speaking of that, this was, as I also said, speaking of giving you a hug,
so
these are
the exoskeleton, how does it determine? More or less how does it calculate how to keep itself upright? No, does it use?
Well, this one isn't self-stabilizing. In fact, pretty much all the ones that are on the market right now require the user to use forearm crutches to help balance. So you're going to find the ankle won't let your foot drip down so you catch your toe when you move. It's going to keep your foot at an angle where it can clear the ground. But you really do have to balance, and that's where a lot of the training comes, is being able to learn how to balance yourself. And imagine if you don't, like right now, I'm using my ankles, I'm using my hip
Yeah.
to keep myself balanced, right? And this is happening all the time. You know, now we have somebody where they don't have this ability. So really they're using their arms, and they're using a little bit, maybe the upper chest, you know, to be able to keep themselves
But
balanced.
they have to get used to it because
That's
this
it.
would be a completely new sensation.
You
for
got it, yeah. So, and this is, some people pick it up quite fast. Other people can take, you know, between 12 and 20 sessions to really start feeling. The other thing you're going to find is to take a step. Once you're up,
Yeah.
what you're going to have to do is there's sensors that know the position of the body. So what you're going to have to do is lean forward a bit and lean off to the side. Now, leaning off to the side essentially lifts the weight off one of the legs. You lean forward so it knows you want to step. Then it'll initiate a step and down, right?
Oh, very cool.
Then you're going to have to transfer your weight off this leg, lean forward a bit, and then it'll initiate the other step. So essentially you're using the position of the exoskeleton to be able to know when and how to move.
Oh, very cool. So basically the computer, the onboard computer, or the computer that it's connected to, is basically making a bunch of micro calculations of my mass to determine where I am and adjust like almost like a cantilever, or?
Well, in a way, this is more of a called inertial sensors. You have gyroscopes, accelerometers, and to say the position, the orientation in space, right?
Oh, very cool.
So it knows where you move. In this case,
Hence all the sensors we have here.
well, in this case, but the nice thing about this is it's all built in. So you can walk anywhere. You don't even
very
need to be in the lab, which is good. The other part is when, this is where a lot of the research that we're involved with is you're telling it to move. So essentially I've moved over. So what should it do?
yourself forward. Ed's behind you to help you if you are going to fall back.
Still getting used to it.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Well,
Are you ready?
Yes.
Awesome. Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay. Take yourself over your feet, over your feet.
Yeah.
You're not too far. I'm actually holding you up. So it's
Sorry?
really what you probably want to do is get yourself way over here. And that's what you'd be learning if we kept training you.
Going for the first days of learning how to walk into these devices
Yeah.
with our clients is always just sit to stand. We're always we're actually in a harnessed environment with parallel bars, and just the day one is just trying to find where your feet are, finding that
balance
sweet spot,
point.
that balance point.
Because my reaction time, as I've noticed, is actually fairly slow. Because it's sort of like, oh, there's something happening, and there's almost like a delayed response as my brain's trying to get
Figure out
used.
what things are moving now, my body's moving, so it does take an acclimation period. So for you to take a step, you have to be leaning forward at least 2 degrees. That's the device leaning forward 2 degrees. So I need you to lean forward a little bit more.
Okay.
Keep going.
Keep going.
That's
Keep going.
about it there.
I can adjust if you need me to.
No, that's good. So I'm actually just going to put it into PT just so you can hear the tone. So lean forward.
Yeah.
Keep leaning forward.
Yeah.
And you should hear it go beep beep.
Beep, beep. Nice night for a walk.
And then
No laundry.
Okay. So we're just going back.
Sorry, I couldn't resist a Terminator
fine.
reference. It's too easy.
All right. So.
Whoops.
Oh, he's going to take a step.
Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
Okay, and lean
All
to
right.
your right. Sorry.
Whoa, like that?
And then lean to your left and forward.
Oh.
There's the tone. I'm going to hit stop.
Ah.
I'm going to hit stop. Sorry.
I'm trying to actually
Now lean to
ignore
the
the
right.
need.
Forward and to your right.
And it's going to bring your feet together.
Like so?
Good.
Oh.
All right. So
This is so cool.
we're going to try that again.
All right.
So you're going to lean forward, and when you lean forward enough, you'll hear a tone, and then it'll go beep beep. And then it's when you're leaning to your right,
Yeah.
it'll go beep again.
The hip, I guess, direction somewhat.
Hips direction. Like your hips are just going to be in line with the device. What basically you're doing is you're loading your stance leg. It's forcing, like, for you to take a step, all your weight needs to be shifted onto the leg that is going to be supporting your weight. You're also supporting yourself with the crutches, so it's that stance leg and your crutches that are creating the base of support that will keep you stable.
I also need to kind of program myself for my, my leg muscles to not kind of try and kick in and
Yeah.
adjust.
Exactly, but for the time being, just having the tilting properly will at least allow the device to take you through a couple steps. All right, so we're gonna try that again.
All right,
so
so
you're
lean
fine
forward.
there. I'm gonna have you lean forward,
Okay.
and then lean to your right. So lean forward a bit more.
Yeah.
And then left step.
Yeah.
And now forward and to the left. We'll let you take a right
So
step.
am I leaning over this way?
You
a
lean
bit?
to your left side.
To the left side?
Yeah.
So like this?
Yeah.
And you got to be farther forward.
Oh,
and then
further
a little-
forward.
Exactly. Keep going.
I would have to
gonna
compensate,
help
I
you a
guess.
little
I
bit.
keep doing it. Yeah. Oh,
There you go.
there we go.
Perfect.
And then I guess this way.
Sure.
Or some
you don't
sort
have
of.
to sway the crutches so much. You're just walking in between the crutches. You don't have to do this.
Oh, okay. So I'm
So-
just kind of giving myself a little bit of support here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. And then
Forward
forward
a
into the
bit.
right. So you're always leaning to.
So I'm leaning this way.
to the
somewhat.
right. You're gonna lean in the direction of the foot that's in the front. So,
Oh, okay.
So you're basically you want to take a left set. So all your weight has to be over that foot. So put all your weight over top of this foot by leaning forward
Yeah.
to the right. There you
know
go.
Now
I'm gonna
I think
help you a
it's-
little bit just so you can get used to
Yeah.
it. So let's make
Whoa.
forward.
Now I think
So-
it's starting to make a bit
So
more.
can
Yeah.
you see how I'm keeping you forward, right?
Yeah.
Much farther forward than you probably felt comfortable
Oh.
initially.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to get it, I think.
There you got it. So forward into the right.
Yeah.
Forward into the left.
Left.
Forward into the right.
Now I see what's going on,
There
what
you
you're
got
doing
it.
with this. Ah, this makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so basically
Yeah.
the control mechanism, as Ed said, is an inertial sensor, and it's
Very
measuring
cool.
you leaning forward into the left and right.
Yeah.
And then when you're in a safe position based
Yeah.
on those sensors, it will allow you to take a step.
Oh, very cool.
All right, so I'm going to actually stop you shortly because you're running.
Want to stop now? And
Okay, I'm
then
going to stop you. When I
Okay.
hit stop, what it does is your next step, it's going to bring it right beside.
Ah, okay.
And we're actually going to have you lean onto your back right heel. And then
What?
we're going to spin. It's okay.
Like that?
got
And
it.
spin you
Yeah,
around.
We're just going to turn you around.
All right.
With training, we can teach you how to turn. You do pivot turns. So basically, you turn when when you only have one foot on the ground.
Yeah.
And you can do a 90 degree and then a 90 degree when basically 2 pivots and you're turning.
That's
around.
very cool.
So it does take a little bit of training, but we've worked with with a number of people who've been able to do it successfully.
Although virtual reality is a fairly new trend in the world, the concept has been around for a lot longer than you might expect. In 1956, filmmaker Morton Heilig invented the Sensorama, a VR machine that was set up with a booth that could fit 4 people inside. The machine combined full-color 3D video, audio, vibrations, and even smell and environmental simulations like wind to trick the brain into feeling like you were part of the scene. Today, virtual reality is a popular form of entertainment, but it's also making headway as a form of controlled therapy used for individuals recovering from brain injuries, trauma, and even PTSD. Only on Go Nitro. The show doesn't end here. Visit us online for your fix at gonitro.tv. You can follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can tweet us on Twitter.
Go Nitro Access is brought to you by Melville, Saskatchewan. It's bigger on the inside. Aviva Canada.
Salon services for Go Nitro provided by ID Hair Studio. Hair for who you really are.
Don't fit in. Stand out with black chrome.